I have a blanket that I've rolled up into a tube type situation. And this will be probably my primary object. That's why I'm saying something like a yoga mat rolled up would be similar. I also have a big cushiony pillow thing that I can use. And then I have a couple flatter things. You could use a flatter pillow, or like I have a towel and a blanket that's thinner. Um, and I also have my blocks. Um, the more supports you have, the more comfortable you'll probably be, but you can definitely get away with um, one if um, particularly if you're on the more flexible side. So I'll try to give you guys all sorts of different options that go with our practice today, but let's start in supported shavasana. So what that would look like is let's for this one just everybody be on their back. At the end of class you can choose what position you want to be in, but at the beginning of class let's start on our back. And you want either something behind your knees, or if you have a chair around still, you could put your shins up on a chair and lie back. Sometimes when people lie flat, it makes their back arch. And so if you have something behind your knees, it flattens that out a little bit, and it also helps to release your hip flexors. So I'm going to let a couple other people in. And let's just start in Shavasana. If you would like something underneath your head as a little bit of a pillow, you could do that as well. The reason why you might want a little pillow is that you want to have your chin even with your forehead, or your forehead slightly lifted, and not have your chin up higher than your forehead for these restorative positions usually. So if you're already in Shavasana, just chill, and we'll hopefully get everybody caught up. Morning, Gabriel.
Morning.
Supported Shavasana. You can have your arms in cactus or goalposts. You can have them on your belly. You can have them at your side, whatever feels good for you. And as you settle in, start to notice your breathing. And if it feels okay to you, you might even try a breath pattern. And the breath pattern that I'd like us to explore is 5-5-2. And what that means is inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, hold for 2. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it, or explore, make a variation that does seem good for you. Um, but let's, if you want to, try to explore this 5-5-5-2 thing. So on your next inhale, inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2. In 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2. In 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold 2. Keep going, and someone else in. Let's do one more cycle wherever you are. When you're finished, just return to normal breathing. And then bend your knees, put your feet on the ground, and roll over to one side. Hold here for a breath or two. And the trick here for coming up, and I'd like us to try to do this consistently, is to not lead with your neck. And the easy way to do that is look down as you push yourself up. So if I look down, I can come back up to seated without putting a lot of strain on my neck. Awesome. So that was our first pose. Our second is going to be a side bend. And for this, I'm going to take my taller thing, bring it next to my hip, and just lie down over my blanket or whatever my structure is so that my hip is on the ground and my ribs are mostly on the ground. You can pillow your head with your hand. And if you'd like to, you can add your second hand parallel or on top of your first hand to accentuate the stretch in your side body a little bit. And if you want to, you can also, instead of using your arm as a pillow, you could use a block or a pillow as a pillow. I'll let someone else in. So once you've adjusted and found the proper height and the proper way to put your arms for your body, see if you can breathe into your side body. Create more space in between your ribs. If you'd like something between your knees, put something between your knees. Use whatever supports or not supports that you want to make your practice more comfortable for you. Everybody is different, which means some of us have more flexibility, some of us have longer or shorter torsos or longer or shorter legs, and all that interferes with your geometry. So you have to find what's comfortable for you, not necessarily what I'm doing. As we do this, you should be feeling held and supported as opposed to stretch. Take a big breath and let it go. We're going to switch sides. So remember, look down as you press your torso back to vertical, and we're going to switch sides. I'm bringing my pile. If you unroll it a little bit, it'll be less tall. Um, I like a little bit of a taller one for my side. Stack your knees approximately. Bring your structure in next to your hip and swap over so that your thing's basically at your waist. Put something under your head if you want, beside your arm, or use your arm as a pillow and your other arm, your arm overhead to just accentuate the length in your side body. Breathe in between your ribs into your waist, maybe all the way down to your hip. Take one more big breath from here. And when you're ready, put your hand next to your shoulder so that you can have some leverage. Look down and push yourself back up to seated. Our next pose is a supported back bend. And I'm going to use my structure in the same orientation that it has been. And I'm just going to gently lower myself over my thing. My hips are still on the ground. If you want something behind your neck or your pillow, you probably want to keep your knees bent or have something underneath your behind your knees, depending on how many resources you have. If this is too intense, roll over and adjust by finding something else or unrolling it a little bit. Actually, unroll it this way. Once you've found the supports that feel good, see if you can settle in. And breathe into your front body. Maybe make more space in between your ribs or inflate your belly. One more centering breath here. Big inhale and exhale. When you're ready, roll onto one side. And take a couple breaths here before you look down and push your torso back up to vertical. And we'll set up for our next pose, which I'll take my structure, whether it's a rolled up yoga mat or a sofa cushion or whatever, and turn it lengthwise. We're going to be doing a supported back bend here as well. Um, Sometimes this isn't for some of us. If you have extra cushion, you might find that you like building a little bit of a ramp for yourself. Um, you're going to keep your knees bent, or if you have a lot of supports, you can put your feet in butterfly and have um, blocks underneath your knees at whatever orientation seems good, or you could have your shins on your chair again. But whatever you need to, you probably need to have some kind of bend in your knees and support for your knees, if that makes sense for you. Okay, I think I'm ready for my lie back. Make any adjustments that you need make it comfortable for lying in this pose for a few breaths or a few minutes. Settle in. Restorative yoga stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest response. It's the antidote to the fight or flight sympathetic nervous system response. And sometimes when we're under a lot of stress or feel mentally or physically exhausted, it's helpful to do these kinds of poses to restore our system into some sort of balance or closer to balance, if not all the way there. Notice if there's any muscles in your body which you could maybe soften a teeny bit. For me, I have to check my jaw. Maybe it's your forehead or your hands that need a little bit of reminding that it don't have to be working right now. Take another centering big breath. And when you're ready, roll off your structure onto your side. Be here for a moment or two. When you're ready, push your torso back up to vertical, looking down. And we'll set up for our next one, which is supported child's pose. Still going to keep my structure oriented in this direction. I'm going to straddle it as much as I can. If your feet don't like being flat with weight on them, you could use something at your ankles so that your toes your foot drapes over the other side and that relieves some of that pressure there. Um, Sometimes, particularly if you like a child's pose that's more vertical, you probably want to put something behind your knees to help you support you as you come forward. And then for me, this is way too low. So either take this one or if you have a second one to put across your belly, do that and then flop over that. So I'm using a lot of supports. If you're on the more flexible side, you probably don't need to. You can have your nose pointed down or off to one side. Adjust anything that you feel needs adjusting. See if you can settle in. If you have your cheek pointed to one side, flip your head over the other direction, just so we're symmetrical. Take another centering breath, big inhale and exhale. And then, when you're ready, maybe move some supports if you have anything behind you. And push your torso out of your child's pose and come back up to vertical. Awesome. Next pose is as a twist. I'm going to keep my structure over to my right. And if some of you might want a taller structure or a ramped structure or a lower structure, depending on your flexibility and interests. And then you also could, if you sleep on your side with something in between your knees, it could be fun to put something in between your knees here. But I pulled this is a blanket, the blanket up towards my hip, putting my hands on both sides of my structure, looking at my structure and just flopping onto it for a twist. You might experiment with your head pointing the same direction as your knees and what it feels like if your head's pointing the opposite direction of your knees. For me, that other one is too intense for me, but it might not be for you. Settle and adjust. And then see if you can be held in the gentle twist. Go ahead and take a centering breath first. Big breath in and out. And when you're ready, both hands on the ground and push your torso back up towards vertical. And let's switch sides. You can just flip your knees over the other way, but I want to keep looking towards you. So I did the whole structure. Hands on either side of your structure, looking at your structure, and flopping down on top of it, just as needed. Take another centering breath. Both palms on the ground. And when you're ready, push yourself back out of the pose. And we're going into our final pose before Shavasana. And there's lots of options for this one. It's basically a supported bridge pose. So the one commonality is that you're going to put your structure underneath your hips. So it could just be uh, either sit on your thing or lie on your back and lift your hips and bring it under, but settling onto your, with the structure, whatever it is, underneath your hips. You can have your knees bent, or you could use, of course, this is going to work. Hold on. Your chair for your shins, or you could put your legs up the wall with this underneath your hips. Mine just squirted out from underneath my hips. To get your legs up the wall, you sit next to the wall and then lean away from it. And as you lean away, and then roll onto your back while you're leaning away. And as you roll onto your back, you bring your feet up towards the wall. And then you lift your hips and slide your structure underneath your hips and do whatever you want with your arms. So this is our inversion. And an inversion has your legs and your calves higher than your heart. Your calves are considered your almost your second heart, because your calves are the muscles that pump the blood from your lower extremities back up to your heart. So they work a lot. And being in an inversion position takes a lot of pressure and stress off of your lower body, particularly. It just kind of recalibrates your entire circulatory system. Again, notice if there's parts of your body that are resisting, parts of your face, your belly. And just note that they might be less willing to let go. Maybe you can soften the edges a teeny bit, but know that those spots are trying to protect you. Maybe have compassion. Maybe send it a thank you for trying to protect you and keep you safe. We're going to come out of this, and you might want to lift your hips and move whatever's underneath your hips out of the way, and then roll onto your side. Take a big breath. And then when you're ready, push using your arms while looking down your torso back up to vertical, and uh, find your favorite Shavasana position. If you like being on your belly, you might try a supported Shavasana where you put a pillow underneath your hips and drape over that. If you like Shavasana on your side, you might try something underneath your head or between your knees. If you like Shavasana on your back, you might try something behind your knees or um, feet against the wall in an astronaut or your shins up on a chair. Find the Shavasana position that's right for you. And settle. In. Don't try to force anything. No breathing, no forced relaxation. Just be, feel held by the earth, by your structures, by yourself. Time to start to lengthen your breathing. Maybe we can do some breaths together. Big inhale in and out. And let's do two more with an audible exhale, maybe with a shh sound. Big inhale in. And no matter what Shavasana position you started in, maybe you could find yourself on your side. Maybe wiggle fingers and toes, do wrist circles or ankle circles, and give yourself a stretch if that's what you're needing right now. And then with your next breath, maybe push yourself back up to sitting, looking down. May the inner light in you reflect the inner light in me. Have a safe and happy spring break. Namaste, everybody.